Hey, Jamie,
It's
how are you?
Good, good. Campbelle, Teresa.
Hey,
Howdy.
Campbelle. Hey, Teresa.
Well, look, Toby, as you know, JammTrain has been running these awards for 9 years now, and Campbelle has been the primary sponsor of KnowledegAccess for 6 years. And today we've got Teresa Norton, who's one of the judges, because as you finished in the top 3 or 4 in these now global awards, we're really interested to know a little bit more about what makes a great leader. Are you up for that?
I'll give it a go, Jamie. I'll give it a go.
Terrific. Well, first of all, congratulations. Well done. Jazz hands.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
And Toby, so who are you and what do you do?
So Toby Balazs is my name. I'm the CEO of Real Estate View. I've been the CEO of Real Estate View for almost 3 years now. Prior to that, I spent 13 years with what is recognised as the #1 and probably the gold standard the world over is, realestate.com.au. So I learned a hell of a lot during my time at realestate.com.au, which was fantastic. And then took on the challenge almost 3 years ago with Real Estate View. So we're the #3 property portal in the Australian marketplace with, I suppose, big growth plans, which were absolutely, supercharged late last year when we announced our tie-up with a company called Australian Community Media, which is Australia's largest privately held media organisation. They're going to take a majority stake in our business. So we're very excited to have Anthony Catalano and Alex Weislitz, who are the owners of that business, firmly behind Real Estate View, and watch this space for a lot of growth over the coming years.
Exciting stuff. Well, thank you very much for that introduction and background. Over to you, Teresa, one of the judges this year.
Hey, listen, thank you, Jamie. And Campbelle, thank you for being the primary sponsor of this fantastic award. It's great that it's now opened up and become a global piece. Look, Toby, I was going back through your answers again, and so many things that really resonate with me, with our business. We work a lot. My son is actually my business partner. I do senior executive coaching, and we talk a lot about the importance of creating a psychologically safe environment and inclusivity and respect. I'm pulling these words, they're coming out of my mouth, and I'm looking at your response to the nomination questionnaire. So talk to me, if you would please, about inclusivity and respect and creating psychological safety. Those are beautiful, big, fat words that everybody loves, but I want to hear some practical advice to leaders for how to create a safe space for teams to perform.
Sure. Thanks, Teresa. Look, I think it starts from the way in which you lead a team, and then your teams lead their teams. It's not something that comes from one individual action or one individual person. I think it's really important that it permeates throughout the organisation, and it's incumbent upon the leaders to ensure that they ask questions of everyone in the room. Because it's not always the case that someone who's got great ideas is necessarily going to talk up. There's times where people might be passionate about an idea and it's coming from the right place, but other people can perhaps get drowned out in that environment. So I think it's really important that the way in which you bring a strategy to life is it can't be one or two people. It needs to be a collective at least of the leadership team, and give everyone the opportunity to have an input and a say as to where you think the business should be going. And then it's really important as a leader to ensure you give people the time and the space to be able to digest that information, to take it on and to respond. I think a lot of it just comes down to questioning, not assuming anything, being data-led in your answers. And it's often perhaps those who might not necessarily be the loudest in the room, but those who might have the data that enables them to be able to be a key part of the decisions you're making and the strategy you're embarking upon. Because in my time, it's so important to get different perspectives around the room to ensure that you do nail the strategy and you don't open yourself to blind spots.
Absolutely. And just talking about the practical application of what you're saying, I mean, asking everybody in the room and making sure you hear from everybody in the room, and knowing that people's personalities are different, and some people are going to be less comfortable to speak up in a group.
That's
and
right.
It's going to be more effective to have a one-to-one with that person. I
Yes.
mean, I'm assuming that's part of this this inclusivity piece, is understanding the diversity of the different personalities in the room, cognitive diversity.
Absolutely. And also making sure that even in those group environments that you take a proactive role in calling out the opinions of other people, to ensure that everyone has a chance to have their say, and a bit of a pause before you move to the next step, so that those who perhaps don't immediately jump in have the room to be able to do that. I mean, our values at Real Estate View are trust, ownership, innovation, and belief. And trust is an absolutely key one of those. Trust that we're going to go in to every environment, with the best intention for the business. Trust that we're going to treat each other with respect, and trust that if there is a contentious issue or something that is openly and hotly debated, that at the end of that we move on, and there's nothing personal about that. And I think good open debate, it shows that you actually got a really strong team that come together. So absolutely everything that you've said is spot on. And I think it's really important, especially over the long term. Because
I want to say too that, I'm just going to interject here that with people who, like myself, who are big talkers, and and understanding that there's only so much bandwidth,
sure.
right? And leaving that space when we're talking, so that people are able to interject. I mean, you said, ask the question and then pause. I love that. I mean, I think that's certainly in my part of the world, you're not going to necessarily get people leaping in. Sometimes an indication that somebody has something to say is just that little breath. And
Toby, our other sponsors are asking for an ad break. So if I may, I'd like
We're both big talkers, it would seem, Jamie.
You are both big talkers. Absolutely. Nothing wrong with that. Campbell, you had a question for Toby before we round it out with a round of applause.
Thanks, Jamie. And congratulations again, Toby, on your success and being a finalist in the awards for that year. My question is, if you had one piece of advice you could give to the leaders and managers watching the presentation today who are focused on creating a great culture, what might that be?
Look, I think the first thing is really passion. You can't fake passion. You have to love what you do. If you don't love what you do, then people are going to know that you're not really into it. So passion is so important. Once you've got the passion piece, and that's really a tick, you just have to have that tick. I think it's really important that you take time with everyone to understand their styles, and then your job is not to your job is more to actually create the space for the great people that you hire and the great people you bring into the business to do their work and forge ahead. You need to make sure there's accountability. You need to make sure that, you're a metrics driven organization. But once you have all of those sort of almost hygiene factors in place, it's really about hopefully inspiring and empowering really the people that you have to get on and do the great work that they do. I mean, we have a weekly rhythm where we have leadership team meetings. Every month I have an end of month company update. So I make sure everyone's understanding where the business is at, being open and honest and transparent about the business and the strategy that we're moving forward with. But I think just creating that environment where the good people you bring into the business, you just let them go and make sure that they also feel equally inspired and understand how they're tracking towards the company strategy, in my experience, means that you just get the best work done.
Well, Toby, your passion is very, very obvious. Congratulations once again.
Thank you very much.
Campeblle and KnowledegAccess, and thank you, Teresa, for being a judge this year. And we look forward to seeing you all for the next awards.
Thank you so much for your time. Much appreciated.
Thanks, Toby. Thanks.
Take care.